But today, folks, we are diving headfirst into the surreal world of political hypocrisy. Tony Blair, the man behind the WMD myth, the weapons of mass destruction that fueled the Iraq War, now wants to lecture us on misinformation. Hundreds of thousands of lives lost due to a lie, and now he's championing censorship. I tell you what, I've got an idea. We'll apply this censorship retrospectively. How about that, eh, Tony? What would the penalty be for lying a nation into war?
I would prefer that the conventional media was the more powerful, because social media, it's, the truth of the matter is it's got many great aspects to it in terms of the way people interact with each other, but in politics it's a bit of a plague.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Tony. Are people online not sharing your beliefs? How terrible. That forked tongue was wagging all the way. And Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker of the House of Commons, is pushing for tech giants to police our speech. In countries like Brazil and France, they're already pulling the plug on platforms like X and Telegram. This isn't about safety, it's about control. Because stick around, we're only just getting started.
I think the government have really got to think long and hard about what they're going to do with social media and what are they going to put through Parliament as a bill to act. And I believe it should be across. It doesn't matter what country you're in. The fact is that misinformation is dangerous.
That from the man who decided to take a Labour amendment, despite it being the SNP's day to actually choose the opposition day debate, in order to actually avoid people who are supporting, well, some pretty nefarious, horrible attacks on MPs in the name of supporting Palestine and all the rest of it. He said, well, I've got to choose a lighter amendment to avoid that happening. Is that not a form of disinformation in and of itself? The ultimate solution here, in my opinion, is that you only get progress towards truth when we allow the freedom to be wrong. Only then, with that freedom, can we actually advance towards what is right? So I think we've got to resist these clarion calls for censorship here at home. Britain must stand resolutely against it. Alex.
Well, I mean, I completely agree with you, Darren, but it seems, unfortunately, like that is the direction we're going to go in. Keir Starmer's already made some sort of statements around that.
And Brussels as well.
And Brussels.
And he's the little lapdog.
Yes, so absolutely, yeah. And, they are losing control of commentary online. They see that as a threat to their power. And what happens when people are threatened is they start to legislate. For years, we've had social media free on the internet, but only since Elon Musk took over Twitter, now they want to lock it up, now they want to crack down on it. That never happened. In fact, before, when Twitter was run by the powers that be beforehand, the FBI and other Secret Service agents had back-end access, so they could lock people up, and they censored people en masse.
Is the issue not that every totalitarian throughout the history of the world has used censorship as a form of coercion?
Yeah, they have, and I'm not in favour of that, but I think we have to recognise that the way certain elements of social media are working, or should I say not working at the moment, we do need to look at it. Misinformation is a massive problem, and it's only... And I'm not talking about people expressing views that other people don't like, because I think we all on this panel would agree that people online should be free to express themselves and however they want. But particularly with the advent of AI, which is getting more sophisticated by the day, deep fakes, we need to look at this because it could cause some serious problems.
Well, let me ask. Renee is a doctor. During the lockdowns, she was opposed to many things in the name of public health that were brought about. Would you, because this is what happened to people, would you censor her right to disagree with public health information?
No,
in the
because
name of disinformation.
No, because that is an opinion. But there are clearly no. But we can't banner every single point of view under opinion. There are objective truths in this. There are objective truths in this world, and that might not fall into that category.
What about the hope not hate guy? He seems to have got let off, didn't he?
I'm in favour of applying this even-handedly. What I'm saying, and I'm not I don't know where you would draw the line, because this is incredibly complicated, right? It's really difficult. That's why no government in the world has cracked it yet. But what I don't think we can say is that social media platforms should be completely free of their responsibility to at least look at...
No, I think they should. So I'm going to butt in here, because I was even monitored by the government during COVID. I was on their misinformation list. I've done the SARs, and I saw how much they monitored me, because I was saying that children shouldn't have a vaccine, and I had very good reasons for that, and it turns out I was right. But anyway, my point about this is my misinformation then, somebody decided that that was misinformation. It wasn't. It's about the definition of misinformation and who decides. It goes all the way back to Orwell and 1984. It's newspeak, it's what is misinformation, and I'm afraid we should be allowed to say anything to offend somebody. We shouldn't be allowed to incite hate or violence, but that's a very, very, very
The issue is as well, though, we cannot rely on traditional mainstream media to put the truth out there.
Yes.
It's only through, I mean, looking at during the riots on X, we saw some of the stuff not being reported, and I think it's important that we continue it.
Andy, who censors the censor?
Yeah, well, that's a perennial question in political philosophy. I get that. But what I'm saying is we cannot have a situation where social media companies have carte blanche to run these platforms in whichever way they like, so that misinformation in some cases can thrive. I'm afraid there are such things as objective truth.
Yeah,
the answer is it depends. I know that's not a satisfactory answer, but it's complicated.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk, and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.